in the city of Kaunas as an engineer who was making or developing TV sets, so TVs. And then I happened to appear in Siemens back in '92, also as a development engineer. I spent one year plus. Was a very interesting period to get acquainted to people who have changed the entire electronic world, which led to things smaller and so on. And then in '95, I was suggested by Munich that Siemens is opening business in Lithuania, Baltic states, and I was suggested to take the role. So I was in Lithuania working for Siemens, and when I departed after 16 years, the company was as big as 20 employees and roughly 100 billion euro business. So I came to Kazakhstan almost 3 years ago. Found here already installed big business and nice, interesting team, motivated one. Therefore, I thought that it is interesting to do something else. And then, perhaps, a couple of words what Siemens does. So Siemens as a company is active in and this is power covers renewable, which covers wind, this is business which covers how energy about infrastructure in the buildings. So mainly humidity. Then we have mobility. Mobility is mainly everything which is related to railway business, meaning rolling stock, fast trains, signaling and automation of railways, and so on. So I do not know how many of you have been in Shanghai, but if you go from Shanghai city center to Shanghai International Airport, you have which goes 453 kilometers an hour, and it's on magnetic levitation technology. It has no wheels, it's on magnetic levitation monorail. Then we have digital factory and process industries, and this is everything what when you talk about process automation, digitalization, drives, and so on. Then we have healthcare business, and healthcare business is technology which allows to make diagnostics, whether this is magnetic resonance, computer tomography, or all kinds of laboratories when you make blood. I think I did not forget everything, with the exception of financial services, and this is, to put it simple, as this is kind of a bank which finances some deals, power generation services. Okay, you see it's under power and gas and renewables. So this is, of course, what takes us to service our installed fleet. All right. When it comes to leadership, I think we can stop it here, I guess. My personal experience, you never identify yourself as a leader. Every one of us has leadership cell somewhere in us, in our brain. The trick is whether you are able to identify yourself somewhere. You can be a leader not only as a manager, you can be a leader as a specialist, you can be a leader as a teacher, you can be a leader as a sportsman. So, as a matter of fact, yeah, I think you know what requires to become a leader. Perhaps there are several fundamental things what one has to know. First of all, you should be lazy. Second, you be afraid to make mistakes because everyone makes mistakes, even biggest leaders of this planet. You got to believe that impossible is possible, and this is what drives you through life. And you have to be able to have a vision of 100 of whatever money. And then during one of my first presentations to our management team, I said, with 100, not even 100 in Lithuania, we're making almost 100 billion. So I just said, it seems that we can make much more. And then I presented to the guys, why don't we land in 3 years by 300 million? Of course, people who were a little bit thinking, okay, this guy is new, we don't know him, he might be nuts. So perhaps it was not really taken serious. But there were believers who thought, why not to give it a try? And so you start to collect those guys and you identify who are those possible leaders within the company. Because winning is about leadership. And in my career, I've got an opportunity to read a book which is called The Leadership Engine. Very easy and understandable book, and it is very simple to read the pages. So the couple of things which I would like to mention here. Winning organizations are the ones who have got this leadership engine within the organization. And the main thing is that the leader has to build this leadership on each and every level of the organization. And the leaders are really have courage perhaps gives you, it was more than 10 years ago, back in Lithuania, playing tennis with business, and they said, well, listen, we're going to build an interesting building. Why don't you come over and we can speak? Well, to cut a long story short, universal sports, like you have it in Astana, I think not one, but even perhaps two now, where you can have ball dances, you can have basketball, you can have small soccer, you can have windsurf, you can have ice hockey. So very new building those days. It was the very beginning in Europe. And the guy said, you know, financing of this building is very strange because we do not invest ourselves. We just sell the seats and we sell all kinds of advertisement items on the walls and on the building itself. So he said, why don't you think it would be a good idea to have it's called Siemens Arena? It was a huge investment, and of course, my financial director said, you must be nuts. One will allow you to spend this kind of money in small Lithuania. But then I brought those promoters to Munich. We climbed to the very top. We presented the business case, what we are going to win. And finally, you can Google Siemens-arena.com. This arena stands in city of Vilnius, and this is the only Siemens arena in the world. So if you really believe, if you really see the point, and if you make the point understandable for the others, and if you can motivate the others also to believe, so it is very, very easy to then drive people behind you and to make them also believe and to make things which are perhaps not really possible to make them happen. And why organizations need this? Because without leaders, organizations start to stagnate. And if you read in the national press, so now and then, in the majority of cases, the shareholders, the company is breathing on the same level for 7 years, you have to expect immediately the change in the leadership. So, I have talked about change, and perhaps would be also important to mention that you can call also leaders kind of revolutionaries. Recently, I have read, just 2 days ago, in the airport, I have read an article about one company in Silicon Valley, in California. 3 investors. The lady is 31 years of age, and they have invented a very simple blood test. And this blood test, you can get the answer within 2 hours, I think, and it tells more or less everything about your blood and a lot of things. This company, Audris, is now valued at $9 billion. So, lady of 31 years of age. Now coming back to impossible is possible. Imagine the whole healthcare system. So this young lady said, no, I'm not finding any kind of niche. She just approached the whole worldwide approved process of healthcare. Now, if this method will be approved worldwide, then it is really going to change a lot in the processes which are given to us as we know them by being born. So this is for me a very good example that even global processes can be changed with a good idea, and leaders are the ones who have it. Perhaps it is also important to tell that good leader is also a good teacher, mentor. And by telling stories, you make some people listen, believe, understand, and every leader has to be able to build around him also a structure of leaders who, in a couple of years, months, or whatever, are able to take over and then drive the company further. And also, all of us who have some past, so we can learn from our past, from our mistakes, wins and losses. So it is important to understand that every mistake you make, it's a teaching point as well for yourself. As I mentioned a bit earlier, many leaders who have to be really energetic, and we always thought that there is no time for this and that, for private life and so on. It's a matter of how you manage your time given, your 24 hours. So I have family, my wife, 3 kids. All of them are studying right now in Germany. I play tennis. I'm a hunter. I'm fishing. I'm skiing. So it's about what you think you are up to. And of course, sometimes you have to sacrifice your certain likings in order to achieve your targets in life. But the future is bright.
Another question, not on the leadership, but what does Siemens do in Kazakhstan? What kind of business?
So Siemens does all kinds of business which I was talking about. So just to give you a couple of examples, President Nazarbayev has been in October on Monday, right? And you have seen the TV reports. In this structure, we do not have that business anymore, but it was carved out in December 2014. but this was metal technology, and still Siemens is building this railway rails plant in Barcevicius with 120 meter long rails with state-of-the-art hardening technology. And this will be the 4th plant worldwide of that kind. Then we are two huge steam turbines for Baltic power plant, 660 megawatt each. We are main supplier for Kazakhstan for high voltage equipment and control systems. We are making railway automation in the Nikeltau and Dagash track. We are modernizing traction substations for Kazakh railway. If you happen to make some checks in hospital, so I can bet that you won't see or almost no any other equipment than Siemens in computer tomography, magnetic resonance, angiography, and so on. So just a couple of examples.
Production here in Kazakhstan, or the trade with the...
No, there is no production in Kazakhstan. We are making localization of 27.5 kV switchgear for Kazakh railways. But we are, of course, I think among 220 employees, we are non-locals, I think up to 10. The rest are locals.
Because actually I come from Munich, and know Siemens of course very well. That's quite interesting.
So you must be German, right?
I am.
Even Bavarian, no?
Even Bavarian. We're 60 kilometers outside of Munich.
Okay. So in a couple of months you will scream words after this.
Yes. This will, others will do it for me. There are more famous people than me to do that.
All right. So the gentleman, no? Go ahead.
Siemens production, which was Siemens production in Siemens. How is now? At what stage? Because my first mobile phone was Siemens. Now I'm aware of information about how Siemens see the future of producing other mobile phones or phones or another objective instead of this glass or something.
So we don't have telecommunication part since 2005. Last year, Siemens sold to Bosch all equipment when we talk about coffee machines, dishwashers, and so on. So we don't have that either. When it comes to digitalization, so there was an international press, I think, some 3 weeks ago when Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany, has visited in Germany the plant, which is 95% digitalized. So even the products process their own investigation, and if something is wrong, they are able to return, recover, and go forward. So I think we have to understand that each and every how our life was changed. There was a great slide, in Rome, in Vatican, just the St. Peter's Dome, and crowd of people, in 2005, making photos of the Pope. And there were perhaps 10 guys with mobile phones. Now in 2013, it is just glimmering. The whole crowd, everyone is making photos with something digital. So it makes our life different each and every day. I do not know nobody is surprised because there is a system to rent and just download the app. You see that those small cars are available, where they are located. The app tells you how long does it take you to reach, which bus or trolley bus or taxi, how much does it cost. So you go there, you get the code, you pay, you open the door with the code, then you drive, and then you drop the car at a certain point. So, I mean, this is not science fiction anymore. If you would ask about it some 5 years ago, this was in Paris, you have the same system. Also, in everyday life is changed. In Germany, in Austria, in Switzerland, you have apps, and they explain how to get from point A to B, with what transport, how much will it cost, how long will it take, and how to get to the nearest point. So it means that each and every physical object in the future will have its digital expression. And I do not remember, yeah, so this is the comparison between 2005 and 2013. If we would switch off the light, then you could see it better. So digitalization is evident. In the future, I think you have heard already RFID technology. Get to our fridges. When your refrigerator will tell this bottle of milk will be gone by tomorrow, so please use it, don't keep it any longer, and so on and so forth. Yes.
Could you please tell us the vision of Siemens now? Vision of the company.
Vision of the company. So, vision of the company is the vision is called 2020. So, to cut a long story short, is innovation, it's excellence, it's responsibility. So we want to be the choice for the partner of choice for our customers, the employer for the labor. And this is how we see the future of the company. So it's, you know, when the company is, you know, with 380,000 employees and roughly 80 billion turnover, so it has to have vision, and this vision was recently changed substantially. So we want to reach the businesses which are not excellent and not satisfying. We want to invest in the growth businesses, which can be in the nearest future the growth market. So these are the main things which we want to go and we are looking for. Yes.
What is your role as CEO, and what's the role of the leader overall in implementing the vision? In this case, for example, the vision 2020.
So, you know, CEO is the one who is responsible for everything. So, this is a responsibility in front of my shareholders. This is the responsibility in front of legislation, in front of international and local legislation. So all those visions, my task is to, as I said, I have to think now by the end of this year, where is the next stopover? But we have been growing by 300% in 3 years. So I think I'm aligned with the vision. And in terms of ownership, So you just really act as if it would be your own company. So you do not spend money for I don't know, expensive car trips and whatever. So you first of all you have to get the orders, you have to implement your obligations, then you have to calculate how much you have earned, then you have to have the strategy what is going to happen in the nearest 3 to 5 years, and so you build your hiring and your strategy. So responsibility of the CEOs, I mean, really very, very wide. But the main thing is you have to have your strategic target, and then which is in line with the company strategy, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get there.
And another question, maybe just talking about everyday life, for example. How do you think, how it's different everyday life of the leaders, for example, and from the ordinary people? How does it affect?
I think you, well, some 10, 15 years ago, I have had more freedom for tennis, for hunting, for skiing. Now I have to sacrifice quite a lot of it. Yes, I've got some time for Chimulak, because it is just 15 minutes to drive. But then when it comes to hunting, so you need a couple of days, and this I don't have. So when making the choice whether you are going to be in the place I am, you have to realize that you are then on the edge. Also, you are stealing time from your family. This is another story.
Also, are hiring people who took measures. What is the criteria
For each and every position, you have quite a lot of criteria. But of course, as I said, want to be employer of choice. So we also have quite high requirements for the candidates when we look for the CV. So it depends on each and every case, but of course, experience, which is a very, if you are hiring an expert, so you cannot hire just a new person who just graduated from the to be responsible for commissioning the compressor station in Asian gas pipeline.
What about characters? Characters, you know, of the person. What kind of character must be? For example, do you have some criteria for?
I think you would not find description of a character of the person you are going to hire. And the main let's say understanding is common sense. So otherwise you're not able simply to describe. It's not that I like you, I don't like you, and so on.
Advice for young graduates?
What kind of advice?
Any kind. Career advice.
No, I think I have said in the very beginning, just don't be lazy, take the risk, don't be afraid of mistakes, have your own vision where you want to be, and be persistent in going after this vision.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's better to do masters first and then start working full-time, or the opposite?
I do not remember how it happened, so it was already some years ago, but it's up to, there is no better or worse, so it's, my son also has graduated from gymnasium, So I said, okay, I want to take a gap here, and this is in Western Europe very popular. So I said, I mean, it's up to you. Neither I can consult or forbid or somehow take part in, but I said, if you want to excel, then making a gap year, that means that you're compared if you are going right up. But as I said, it's a very individual decision in that case, depending on. So as I said, if you feel like you would like to just grab immediately, make your master degree, and then deep dive in your career or business or whatever, this is one thing. But it's also quite okay if you are approaching the labor market with your bachelor degree.
Siemens company take to work people graduates or only people with work experience.
There are no standards. It depends on the exact employment or the place we are looking for.
So you have some positions where graduates can.
Yes, people have to start somewhere. So every employer understands that if you say, okay, I do not employ graduates faster, so you are done.
The next class was 3 years. Please share with us your experience making business in Kazakhstan as a leader. What are the specific things that you did not do before just getting to learn here and see that something to share with us? Because I'm also 3 years here and I also get some picture already.
Okay, first of all, there was a big change in terms of technologies. In my previous position, oil and gas was not an issue, as well as metal industry was not in my scope. So first of all, you have to understand the business itself, which takes time. Then, of course, if I was already more or less international, because I was in Baltic's board of directors, so these are 4 countries. So if you are an open person and you're a person of common sense, of course you can talk to anybody. So
Experience anything in your last life. I'm talking about cross-cultural issues and issues of doing business in.
yes, there are certain things which we do not do, and I'm talking about corruption. So this is, if this is the case, then this is not our business, and for the time being, it is not our market.
Because we know the story that Siemens get to overcome.
Yes,
That's what I see. Or less.
we have paid our price.
You did this.
Excuse me, I have noticed in many companies' vision that the customers like people orientation is on the center, but here ownership culture. Could you explain why it is in the center?
I think just because if you are going every day to the office and you have a feeling that you are going to your own company and you're responsible as if it would be your own company. So I would say then you are most efficient in the things you are doing. Then you are taking it really seriously and responsibly rather than taking it as, okay, done, I'm not in this anymore. So this is the main thing, is the ownership and responsibilities are very linked things. And then after all, leadership, success, winning. So that's why it is in the very center.
you say so reaching goals?
First of all, you have to have those goals and to make your point clear. Those goals have to be stretch goals, but they have to be quantifiable and reachable. Otherwise, nobody is interested. If you okay, from now on, you have to double your figures. It does not happen like that usually. So, if you just setting the target and then not even explaining it, okay, this is one thing to agree on something, but usually this does not really work in life. So you have to, it's about communication. If you keep your doors open, if you explain what you have said, and people have different different ways, you know, the mind of the person have different ways to go from A to B. So you have to understand the person to whom you're getting target or providing a target with, and then you have to explain what you have in mind and discuss. And if you reach the understanding, then it usually works. Of course, there are cases then when people simply, when I came also, within 3 months, I understood that there are persons with whom I do not have understanding, and they will never get a point, and there is no way we're going to cooperate in the future. So the changes were made. It's telling, you know, open door policy. If I'm in the office, then my door is open. Yes.
Thank you very much for a great lecture. The question is, what were the challenges of doing business in Kazakhstan?
I would say these are usual business challenges. I would not say that it is very much different if we are talking about normal, healthy business. So I have been in Kazakhstan earlier, also on private visits, and this is why I thought, okay, I was hunting, as I mentioned, perhaps prior to coming with the assignment. So I thought, okay, I like the people, I like the guys whom I met, so it's very easy and going. So this is what the decision. So I cannot identify some different challenges which you don't have otherwise in the world. Perhaps the only thing is that you have to have much more patience to wait for decision. And secondly, the main challenge is predictability. So even if it is decided on the higher level, it is very, very difficult to predict whether it is final or not, whether it will be reversed or not. So this is perhaps, I would say, the main challenge which you have to understand and have to be much more patient than in the countries I've been working before.
Is there a difference in informal and formal structures compared to other countries here in Kazakhstan?
Also here business is being done during hunting, fishing, skiing, tennis court.
Inside the company?
Same inside the company. I mean, we have outdoor meetings, we have, you know, make some silly things sometimes, but just like anywhere else in the world.
So you are now experienced manager and the leader. Do you have some tips or advices for us as a young generation and future also managers? For example, how to work with your new team, new company, how to make it to develop and so on and so on.
It's you know, it's to answer your question, I think you should get ready to spend overnight in this place because it is very, very general. So, I mean, it's like a PhD book. So, as I said, you have to be open-minded. You have to be eager to learn. You have to be energetic. You have to be inquisitive and ask why and how. There is no any special secret. Just be open-minded, and you will find your truth in life.
Do you prefer to be very close to your employees rather than like having the respect from them and these formal styles and so on?
I prefer to be close to employees because if you are having a very formal style, which sometimes you have to perform, but it is then if you from the very beginning you position yourself as I'm CEO, understood, then it is very difficult to motivate your team to go after you. And then, of course, you close the door, and then everyone only can come into the door if secretary allows. Then this is very, very demotivating for your team.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have life situation. Now I remember the team, and our leader is more pushing us than motivating. Maybe you can advise something. Me, for example, what can I do in order to make my work good and to help my team members? I mean, yeah. For example, if the leader is motivating you, not motivating, what to do in this case?
Well, I presume that you cannot change your leader, right?
No.
Okay, so then the only outcome is you have to cope with it. Now, how to cope with it? First of all, you as a team or as team member, you can make your point there to be constructive, not destructive. If you are starting to select your parents, so very suddenly you can select your boss. So if you start destructive competition, then it will be nowhere and you will suffer. But if you make your points constructive and suggest some way out, then I think normal person would understand it.
Remind the name of the book which you mentioned.
The leadership engine.
Who's the author?
And the author is called Noel M. Ichi. So it's a handbook, you know? Not a Bible, but a handbook.
What other book you can advise us?
There is another book, don't ask me the author, but the Breakthrough Strategy.
Excuse me, can you also recommend some other books that might be helpful for future career leadership and security?
Not that I would be able to name them out of the blue. So perhaps I will think about it. and Alexander then will send some other books, the names.
Last question. I think we will have to ask from the audience.
I think it was the last question.
If I'm right, are you engineer?
I used to be an engineer, now I'm sort of a manager.
I mean during your university. So,
Major.
yeah, major.
Yes, I'm electronic engineer.
So, can you tell that now you're using your knowledge and that university knowledge and so on helped you to reach such goals and success and so on?
You know, your basic education is you know, your starting point. So it comes to a point where you have to decide whether you are driving more to expert career or to management career. But yes, you know, electronic engineering, you know, you have wide help, I think, because this is not mechanical engineering. You cannot touch, you cannot see. So it's about abstract thinking. So you cannot see electrons, you cannot see the currents, you cannot see the PNP structures in semiconductors. So you have to understand. And I think abstract thinking is very important also for your future life. And coming, you reminded me when my son was studying in gymnasium in Germany. So his professor of economy, there was first conversation with parents, and he asked, "Okay, young man, so what you would like to be in life?" So guess what was the answer? The answer was, "I want to be a manager." He was 16 years of age. Now this professor, unfortunately, passed away. He said, "Did you ever ask your father how he started his business life?" He did not start as a manager. I was starting with, you know, payernik, oscilloscope, generator, and these were also a day. So after my office hours, I was still making some private business amplifiers and so on. I haven't met a lot of people who have started as managers and developed to really huge leaders. Usually you start small, but then you develop yourself.
Dear Audris, on behalf of the leadership development program, students and faculty, thank you very much for being with us, for coming here to our program and sharing with us your unique experience. Thank you very much for your contribution and welcome to the method.
Thank you all. It was a very interesting conversation. Thank you for your questions. I'm glad that you were not asleep.
Thank you.
She's our former LDP student, before he is successful. Thank you very much. I have a very small announcement. Promote the internship opportunity that we have in our company. We are actually looking for an intern for corporate communication department. You can see a brief description here. It's 4 hours per day, 2 months unpaid, but
have a lot of experience, and we can teach you some more about PowerPoint creation, presentation techniques, press analytics, and working with picture data. Tasks are really interesting because you will have an opportunity to actually